Hey guys, Mac here. We're continuing along Hitman Absolution hard walkthrough. This is mission 5, part 1 of 2, as this mission is ridiculously long. It'll take you like 40 minutes if you skip all the cutscenes and you're pretty good. It'll take you like an hour if you're like me and you fail a lot of times, probably an hour and 40. This should probably honestly be split up into like 3 separate missions, but for some reason they kept it all the same mission. From the start, we're just going to go here and not get spotted. And then once we're able to do that, we're going to sneak into that next room to get the cop. So as you see, I'm just working my way to this right hand side, and when the coast is clear, behind me there's a little door I'm going for, and there's one guard in there by himself. He is talking on the radio, but if you fiber wire him, you won't actually get caught. Obviously, if you subdue him, you'll get a better rating, as fiber wiring does automatically kill them. I'm not sure. Yep, I do steal his disguise. It's probably best if you do the police officer's disguise. And just for safekeeping, we're going to put him in the dumpster just to, verify, get better points and whatnot. So that's always a good idea. Now we're going to head for the first checkpoint. And it's good to notice that when you kill someone but hide their body, the scores cancel each other out. So I'm still at 0. I'm not negative. Down the hall, you'll have a checkpoint, which is where you're going to want to go. Keep an eye on the map. For some reason, there's only one cop right now. And as long as he's not looking, you're going to make a dash for the end of the hall. Once you get to the end of the hall, I suggest you get that checkpoint. You'll need it, as the next part can be quite difficult. If you do restart the checkpoint like me, watch out. The cops, for some reason, are right outside the door when I restart the checkpoint. And once we do get that, we're just going to go to the left here, up the stairs, and we have to get through a bunch of police cars. You will need a police disguise to do it the way I did it. There's a vent when you go up the stairs that gets you access to the other side, but I wasn't able to do anything with that vent that was of any use. So we're only 2 minutes into the mission. There's a lot to go, guys. I'm going to try to keep my energy level very high so that this walkthrough is not unbearably long and unbearably boring. We're going to literally wait for the cops to line up, as in Hitman we often do. We're going to make a dash for that car using the control change cover button. And then we're going to go for that middle car. There is a piece of evidence on that car. You can collect it for extra points. I honestly didn't go for it specifically, but I knew it was there, and it actually worked with the method I was going for. Then I moved over to this left car and onto this wall here. Once on this wall, it can be a little hard, as there is a guy right behind that pillar in both directions. So you want to make sure you're not spotted, or else it can get kind of awkward when he stares at you and asks you why you're just standing there. I do get spotted a little bit, like they're onto me when I'm picking the lock, but I end up getting through this part of the mission. So that's always good news. Here you see me sneaking by using a little bit of instinct just to play it cool. We're going to drop down right here. And once we drop down, we'll be at the door. And once we're at that door, we're just going to press Y to pick the lock. If at any point you get spotted picking the lock, you can press B to stop it and use some instinct to play it off. And now we're inside the, I don't even know what you want to call it. We're just inside some apartments, I guess you could say. So there's a few ways to approach this part of the mission. What I recommend is going to your right and immediately heading down the stairs. Now we're going to move through a series of 2 vents. It's quite important you use these vents if you want a decent rating, as there are a lot of guards outside of the club, and they'll get onto you. Once you're inside the club, there's not much to worry about. Cops are allowed in the club, free charge, all of that stuff. Once we get out of here, you can get out of here without peeking for the most part. There should be a cop right behind that bodyguard right behind that pillar. Make sure you sneak around behind him. Once you're in the club, you're basically good to go. It can get a little awkward. What I recommend is, once you're inside the club, take a right to locate the target, and then go right across to enter the washroom and get a staff disguise. I take a little bit of a crazy route here by getting a checkpoint first and then getting the disguise, which ends up biting me in the ass because I have to redo. I ended up failing the mission a few times and having to redo a lot of the parts. So I don't recommend you get that checkpoint. I knocked the guy out, got the checkpoint, and now you'll see that it transitioned into a next playthrough as I restarted the checkpoint. And you actually want to go to where I'm going right off the bat. It's the washroom, and inside the washroom there should be just the staff member. If you did it like me, you'll end up with a staff member and a cop in there possibly at the same time. You'll have to wait for the cop to come out, and then you can go in. We're doing that to get a staff costume as well as a key card. The way I assassinated Osmond, you will need a key card. So another unfortunate thing about the way I did the checkpoint is that you can only trigger one checkpoint. You can only trigger a checkpoint once, you know, and it's actually better if you get that checkpoint after you kill the main target instead of before like I did. So anyways, we took his disguise. We took his key card. We're going to put his body into the closets for safekeeping just so people aren't onto us. And once he's in there, we're going to head to the private strip area dressed as a staff member. And literally you can just shoot the target in the face with a pistol. Loud pistol's fine. It's not a big deal. Use the crowd here to conceal your identity without using instinct. On hard, obviously. On medium, you won't need to do it as much as it's a lot easier. Use instinct to sneak by this guard, no problem. You're going to need a little bit of instinct for this next guard as well. They're almost onto me. Pass through. Once you're in this room, you're basically free to shoot him in the head. Obviously, the guard wandered in there, and I didn't know what was going on. I just kind of shot all of them. And ideally, you don't want the staff member in them. But once you shoot the main target is when you want to trigger that next checkpoint that I triggered earlier. And it's not a big deal if you did it like me. It's perfectly fine to do it that way. You can kind of camp this corner to see if someone inspects. You can just murder them right away with the fiber wire. Make sure to take all the key cards off the ground. You will need them for access into the upper stories. And bam, in the face. Bam, in the face. All right, key cards, come here. Perfect, we grabbed the key cards, and now we are off to the upper floors. And by now, I feel like this should have been one mission, like right here should have ended. But this mission goes on and on and on. So that's where I would trigger the checkpoint. Obviously, all the guards wouldn't be on high alert, as if you did the one bullet to the head, they wouldn't have caught on. Once you get to the top of these stairs, there's actually, I don't believe there's any guards anywhere, so I'm just kind of taking my time. We'll pick the lock, and we'll have a small cutscene, and we're on to the next area, which is the upstairs of the strip club, which is actually a pretty easy area, in my opinion. Pretty foolproof way I have here. We're just waiting here around this corner for the one guard to join the other guard, and once they do that, we sneak around, and we're home free for the most part. You can pick up a bottle or something if you want to throw across the room to get their attention, to break their conversation a little faster, although it's a little bit part of the story to have it the way it is. So you see the guard moving forward now just a little bit, and we're going to use the couches to sneak. When you see that change cover icon, make sure you use it. It's recommended you do, as you're 10 times less likely to be seen. Strippers don't care about you, so you can walk by them and they won't notice you, as they're not part of your work, co-workers or whatever you want to call it. Be awesome if you could dress up as one, but I don't think you can. Here, we're going to just sneak by. If you can change cover, make sure you do. If you can't, you can just walk by like I did. Oh, change cover. Bam, do the roll. Up the stairs we go. I think I get spotted at the top of the stairs, but I think I just kill him. I actually don't know what I do. Nope, you know, play it off nice and cool. Bam, walk by with instinct, and just go into the next room. And once you get that phone in there, that's going to trigger off a cinematic and bring you to the next section of the mission. We're about halfway done now. So we're trying to avoid the police here. I think I get a lethal throw kill. If you don't have the kill for a lethal throw, you'll achievement rather for a lethal kill, you'll get it right here. Pick up the knife, aim it down the hall, murk him in the head with it, wham, and you should get the achievement if you don't already have it. You don't actually need to kill that cop. I just did it for style points and for fun. And what we need to do is, at the end of this section, there's a little checkpoint. We're going to trigger it, and we're going to have to go upstairs. And not going to spoil too much if you haven't gotten there. So we're just sneaking around. Because we killed that guard, we don't really have to worry about much. We can actually just walk by. I stole the cop's uniform just in case. I figured there would be a lot of cops during this section, so I didn't think a staff member's uniform would be beneficial. Moving on down the hall, there's one cop at the end of the hall. He will turn around and head back to where he came from, so you don't really have to worry about him. That door you see on the right hand side of my screen is the door we're trying to get to. And once you see that cop turn around on the radar, you can just walk to it normally without anything. First aid if you need it. I don't think it's useful for hard, honestly. I don't even know what it does. And I suggest you trigger this checkpoint as soon as you come by it. Now we're going to go upstairs and grab onto that ledge. Once we grab on, we're going to shimmy down to the right hand side and climb up. There's a door once we get off the ledge. We're going to walk through it. We're going to see a dead stripper on the ground, and we're going to dump her body, which is actually the only option we have. Unfortunately, we can't use her any other way, if you know what I mean. That was a disgusting joke. Anyways, we're off. All of them are going to notice the dead stripper. You have to watch out when you want to jump down here, but you have to be very careful. You can poke your head out and kind of see where the guards are looking. You'll have to wait for the perfect opportunity for these guards to be kind of facing away from you. And once you get that opportunity, bam, right there, you can drop down, press B twice to drop down, and make your way closer to that objective. Here you're going to have a section with two cops. I end up killing one of the cops. I'm not sure if you can do it any other way. I could have probably sneaked by him with instinct, but for some reason I completely forgot that I was in a cop's uniform, and I just assassinated him with fiber wire. Rating wise, I get a decent rating. I think I get a shadows rating, which is not great, but it's pretty good. It's not Silent Assassin, but it's really not that bad. So we're gonna wait for that cop to move down there. This is the cop where he's kind of in an awkward position. I feel a sneeze coming on. So I fiber wired him. I don't know if there was any other options. Maybe I could have pushed him over the railing or just snuck around him or something. I think I'm just going to leave his body there, as there's actually nowhere to dump it. Onto the ledge we go. Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. And once we pass these doors, part 1 is going to finish. Part 2 you can find in the top right corner of this video, or you can find it in the YouTube description below in the playlist. I'll see you guys in that part. Thanks for watching.